We're just over a week away from Thanksgiving, can you believe it? And many families are looking for a safe way to celebrate as coronavirus cases soar. The CDC recommends only celebrating with people in your household. But if you are joining others, the CDC says you should wear a mask when you're not eating, stay 6 feet apart, and if you're inside, keep the windows open. Psychologist and CBS News contributor Lisa Damour joins us with how to handle difficult decisions and conversations around the holidays. Lisa, good morning. Thanks for being with us. What is your advice to people about...
Good to see you.
Yeah, great to see you too. I wish you could be here. Many people are still deciding how to deal with the holiday as close as it is. What's your advice?
You know, this is such a tough one, and it's hard because there's really no good decision. You know, either people have to deal with disappointing themselves or their families, or they have to assume some really frightening risks. So the first thing I think to do is to recognize that there's no perfect way to go about this, and then to make the choice that actually one can really live with. And the challenge we're up against right now is that we have been in this pandemic so long, and it feels tedious and familiar. And yet we have to reconcile that with the fact that it is as dangerous as it has ever been. And I think we really need to let those record rates drive decision making.
All right. Once you make a decision about what you're going to do, you have to have the conversation with the family. What's the best way to do that?
You know, I think different families handle this in different ways. You know, some families do well by getting this information in doses, right? So it might be worth calling and saying, I'm having questions about coming, and then following up later and saying, I've decided I can't come. Other families do well getting hard news all at once, and so that may be the way to go. What we want to bear in mind is that when it comes to delivering bad news, what people like least is surprises. So if you've decided that you're not going to go and you know that's going to be hard for someone to hear, you should probably tell them as soon as you've made that decision yourself.
Mm-hmm. What about kids, Lisa? This has been such a hard year for them. A lot of them obviously looking forward to holidays and traditions that they've had for years. How do you approach kids about this?
You know, with kids, I think we start with safety. They understand that. You know, we say we have to make the decision that is safe. And then we are clear and calm and direct about telling them what's happening. And I think if we cannot do the holidays as we normally do, we make room for them to be sad and disappointed. We don't have to talk them out of it. They have a right to those feelings. After that, I think we can work with them about getting creative. And kids are great at this. So we could say maybe, look, we're not going to do our regular Thanksgiving, but maybe we do, you know, a movie marathon and 4 kinds of popcorn. If they're still struggling, and they might be, what we can say is that there are times when we make personal sacrifices on behalf of a greater good. And that's what we're doing here. And we can actually help them feel proud about their part in that.
Yeah, that they're playing a role. You know, Joe Biden has mentioned this about the empty chair at the table. It's always tough that first holiday after you've lost someone. What's your advice to families that are going through that? That's a lot of families this year.
That is a lot of families. There's a lot of people in that boat. So the first thing I would say is we should be mindful of who those people are in our communities. We should be reaching out to them. If there's a safe way to connect in person, consider that. Otherwise, just reach out digitally. I would also say that people who are suffering should not hesitate to reach out. There is help available. But the piece that we want to remember, and the story about that chair really gets at that, is that holidays are about times of reflection and gratitude and thinking about and connecting with the people we love. And just because we can't do that in the regular way doesn't mean that we can't do it this year.
Lisa, I want to pick up on connecting with people you love, because if those people come over and your household tries to follow the CDC guidelines, windows open, 6 feet apart, you wear a mask when you're not eating, there are going to be families split over the wisdom of those recommendations, maybe arguing about it. If you're the host, how do you get in the middle, say, your daughter arguing with your uncle over whether to wear a mask?
You know, I think we say, look, I love you both. We all want to get together and enjoy each other and have a good time. And in order for that to be possible, people have to be comfortable. And I know we don't want to do anything that would make someone here uncomfortable, so let's just go ahead and follow the CDC guidelines. That way we can all be at ease.
All right. Going to be an interesting Thanksgiving.
Blame it on the CDC, yeah.
Lisa Damour, thank you so much for being with us
That
this
neutral
morning.
third party.
Yes.
Okay.